Hi everyone, good evening, and it's good to be back again for YouTube Live. But today's topic is again one of the most interesting topics, and I'm sure all of you guys are already smiling today because there is some bit of green, slight positivity. थोड़ा सा तो smile करो, थोड़ा सा तो relief आया होगा. I think after today's pickup. In fact, what fortunate we were because yesterday evening itself, my team they just posted about that there is going to be a monster rally which is going to come into the Indian equity markets. We were actually planning to do this just about yesterday or day before, but then we thought maybe just we'll delay it by a day. I wanted to do it on Friday, frankly, but then I think things had to take a different turn altogether. And fortunately, we are at a point where the markets have given the first phase of the rally. Now, today's topic is again a very interesting topic. It's not generic. None of my YouTube videos are generic. They are always specific towards a certain topic. They are certain specific towards a certain kind of study which we do that gives you joining the dots to give you the overall picture how the markets are shaping up. Like we started off with the YouTube live, a few weeks back, and we were discussing that how we were anticipating that the market rally or the FI selling is broadly on the base that the money is getting shifted from India towards certain geographies like China, Hong Kong, etc. We see that happening, and in fact, since the last 1 month, since we've started the YouTube live, we've actually seen the narrative now that everyone on the street is saying that yes, the money is getting shifted towards certain geographies and countries like China, Hong Kong, Europe, etc. So we proved to be sort of right in that part. We anticipated the gold, that gold is likely to top out at 3,000 levels or 2950 thereabouts in dollar terms, and that's also worked out very well. We saw almost like a 3,000 rupee correction for gold, or I think an $80 correction from 2950 thereabouts to 2840 50 levels at one point of time. So that's also worked out really well. Now we bring into a point where we are expecting that this market mood where we are right now is going to be one of the most interesting aspects of the markets which you would not have seen. And I try and give like what I do every time with the RBI policy, give you the historical context, etc. This time also, we are looking and bringing a very interesting historical concept and a rhythmic price action which is playing out. In fact, if you guys have joined new to our YouTube live, you guys can go back to the previous videos. Like yesterday or day before, we were discussing that the Nifty Energy Index is likely to make a big turnaround. If you guys were with me since the last 1 month, we were the first ones, and I can proudly say that we were the first ones who mentioned that the Nifty Metal Index is going through a big turnaround. Right? बोला था कि नहीं बोला था? So I can say ना कि हाँ मैंने बोला था. So I know my मैंने बोला था is now become a very cliche, but yes, we did say that other than banks, if there is one sector which is likely to go into a turnaround mode, it will be and should be the metal index. And in fact, we discussed the two big metal names. Uh, at that point of time, you guys can check the video also. One was JSW Steel, and specifically, I'd mentioned Tata Steel, right? And in just the last 2 days back, 2 or 3 days back, when we did the YouTube live, we mentioned another sector, the energy index, right? That what the energy index is likely to show. So if you guys are new to our YouTube live, please ensure that you guys check our video because the Nifty Energy Index, according to me, I think is at the cusp of a massive turnaround. Okay. You can play for 2%, you can play for 5%. See, stocks can go up, they can come down. All of that is fine. But I am specifically expecting that this is the start of a major and a massive multi quarter, multi year uptrend. Okay, that's what my belief is for the Nifty Energy Index, and we also discussed the trading aspect on the Nifty Metal Index. So far, you can say 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 is good in terms of our strike rate, or maybe 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10 so far. things have worked out according to our anticipation. And remember that most of the studies which we are doing and what you are seeing on YouTube Live is not those cliche and the random talks. अरे रुपी डेप्रिशिएट कर गया 88 89 आ गया अब हम क्या करेंगे एफआईएस को इंडिया में प्रॉफिट हो रहा है द net profit numbers they are not there xyz. We don't talk of that kind of a randomness. We talk of absolute data points, something which helps us build us a constructive view on the markets. That's what we focus every single time. Today's discussion is almost exactly on those lines, where I specifically believe, okay, that we are at the cusp of a major, massive monster rally. So today, uh, I wish I could have done this yesterday itself. Then शायद आपको समझ में आता था कि the kind of data points which I wanted to showcase that's already started to turn around. So without much ado, we'll just start off with today's discussion on why and how the data points are coming together, all of them suddenly. Okay, different analysis, different charts, different pieces of the puzzle, and all of them are suddenly indicating that we are at the cusp of potentially a massive monster rally. I will not call it as a major uptrend, because that catch, that whether the FIs will continue to sell, that overhang will still remain, right? That overhang or that sword will always remain on Indian markets. So let's look at this as more of a constructive rally rather than a major uptrend. Okay, let's build that context. Before I do that, hi everyone, and I'll start saying a hi to everyone. Sahil Madan is the first one. I think he's logged in much earlier than the start of the video also. So hi Sahil. Thank you so much for logging in earlier. Atin Agarwal also, Nityam Shah, Alice Maridas. Good to connect with all of you guys. Chandru, Bhavini Vora. You have Shashank Singh, Nishi Gupta, Raj Kumar. I'm assuming it's KR is Kumar. Okay. Satish SN. Hi Deepak Chhabria, Rushabh Modi. Lovely. So Rushabh Modi is now saying that mid caps and small caps having triple divergence between price and RSI. अब आ गए ना सब triple divergence पे, right? And we just showed it to you, I think 2 days back or 3 days back, that stocks like just as a study, we showed that stocks like ONGC and NTPC, etc., they are showing signs of massive triple RSI divergence. Even HAL, Hindustan Aeronautics, had showed that divergence, but unfortunately the stock fell further first. I think there was some news flow which came negative, but now the stock has recovered from 3,000 to almost 3,400. So I think much part of the recovery is already now in place. Today's discussion again very interesting, right? Hi Saurabh Garg, Ashok Nyayadhish, Bhavini Vora, Bhavini Veera, TS Raju, Tariq Khan, Sanjeev Khangar. Anyone else who's new, who's first time logging into the YouTube live? Rahul Jain. Hi Rahul. Anyone from who's joining us for the first time? You guys can just, anyone who's looking at the YouTube live for the first time, you guys can just go back post the end of the video. You can go back to our previous analysis, and we've tried to time as well as be very precise with the sectors and the stock pickings what we've been doing in our YouTube live. So it's not the same usual YouTube live which you guys see on the street, but this is something which is completely special, data driven, analytical, and more constructive, objective rather than any kind of subjectivity. Okay. Pritam Chatterjee says, "I'm waiting for your magic innings." Thank you so much, Pritam. Atanu Barik. Good evening, sir, from Kolkata with love. Thank you so much, Atanu. Okay, so without much ado, let's begin. Before I do that, guys, follow the regular exercise. What do you guys have to do? You see that thumb button in front of you? Ensure that you like the video, and there's the share button also. So I want all of you guys to start sharing the video, because अगर ये monster rally जिस एंटिसिपेशन में जो मैं आपको दिखाने वाला हूं, इफ दैट स्टार्ट्स टू प्ले आउट, this is going to be one heck of a rally for all of you guys, right? So fantastic, good. Hitesh, yes, we do teach courses also, but for that, I think you'll have to just maybe speak to my team on the same. But today's discussion is not on teaching on technicals, but it's teaching on the construct of the market. Okay. Hi Rakesh Vasisht. Hi Rahul Jain. Cool. Okay. So I hope you guys can see the video and the screen in front of you, right? Yes, everyone. Yes, yes. Okay, lovely. So there are three parts of today's discussion, rather four parts of today's discussion. So the first part is just a very simple warm up to make you guys understand that how we look at the construct of the market, what are the aspects, what are the chartical ideas which we look out for, how do we expect and gauge that markets are going through a turnaround mode. One second, I'm just let me see. Okay, Vinay Nagpal says hi, not for the first time, but you never mentioned. Hi, Vinay Nagpal. Now I will ensure that in every YouTube live, I will mention your name if I see you logged in. Okay. Uh, okay. Yeah. So I hope the screen is visible. Okay. So today, this is the hourly chart of the Nifty. And look at how beautifully our markets, the Indian markets, the Indian indices are adhering to the very simple basic construct of the technical charts. हम बोलते हैं ना कि टेक्निकल एनालिसिस वर्क नहीं करता है, तो फंडामेंटल एनालिसिस कहाँ वर्क कर रहा है इन दिस केस, राइट? But the idea is that you have to find those pieces in puzzle, where you expect that the markets start adhering or clinging on to technical analysis. That's the beauty about the markets and the charts. We never say that 100% of the times an X amount of study or X study like technicals or fundamentals they work, but there is a very high probability that when it works to a T. Okay, it works almost perfectly. So we just try to find those phases where you can probably cling on to those technical structures. Like I always believe that if you trade in best parts of the markets, your strike rate is always high. And if you trade excessively in the worst part of the markets, your strike rates drop down. What is the best way to keep your strike rates high? Trade on charts, on technicals in the best of the market phases, and in the worst of the market phases, reduce the number of trades which you are trading, because that's the best way, right? So that you can maintain your strike rates on the higher side. So that's what we also tend to do in our advisory when we recommend stocks, because we believe that the best part of the money gets made in just maybe 6 or 9 months of the entire year. The next 2 or 3 months, you just have to try and protect your capital and the profit which you've earned. That's the very simplest way in which you can trade the markets. Now, in this case, what you're seeing right now is that on the very short term charts, the Nifty is at the cusp of a trend line resistance. Hourly chart है, बहुत important है, which means for the markets to change its structure, what we are seeing right now, lower highs and lower lows बन रहा है. जितना market closer to the trend line जाता है, suddenly there is a resistance which comes in and the markets go into a selling spree, right? But surprisingly, for the first time, it looks like that the markets are likely to come out of this downward trend line resistance. We will just wait for maybe one more day of confirmation. If you get it, say tomorrow, or in the next 1 or 2 days, if the markets show some kind of a breakout, then yes, we may expect that there could be a big case of a turnaround which can happen for Indian markets. So that could be point number one, that we are at the cusp of a potential end of a short-term correction which has been going on. And look at this correction has almost been 1800 points on the Nifty. So this is almost 23,800 for the index, and we have fallen down to as much as sub 22,000, 21,900 thereabouts, was the low the index has made, right? So we were almost at 21,900 levels thereabouts. So we are almost at 2,000 point correction. वहां से फर्स्ट टाइम अभी हमको ऐसा लग रहा है कि शायद this time the impact of the markets is pretty much on the stronger side. Let's look at the second aspect, which is the banking index. And again, Bank Nifty showing or exhibiting a very similar kind of a chart where the Bank Nifty is on the verge of a breakout of this downward sloping trendline resistance. So which means 48,600, 600 or 700 approximately is the breakout point. कल अगर बैंक निफ्टी ये लेवल को क्रॉस कर जाता है, I believe that this could be a case of a turnaround for the banking index. I'll give you an example over here. I'm of course giving you a different chart, but just to give you an example, right? This is what we pointed out in our, if you remember, in our previous session for the metal index when we were discussing Tata Steel, correct? That once the charts break a particular trend line resistance, a new trend starts to begin. And look at the beauty that the moment the trend line starts to break out, yeah, the stock or the index, in this case the stock, breaks out this trend line resistance, you see that slowly and gradually it starts to move up higher. तो ये जो ट्रेंड लाइन रेजिस्टेंस था अब ये सपोर्ट बन जाता है. So this is exactly what I believe should happen for the banking index as well as the Nifty chart. So I hope this much is very clear to all of you, right? So what we are expecting is that this downward sloping trend line A should get breached. We will wait for 2 days of confirmation, mostly by tomorrow. But if not tomorrow, maximum by day after tomorrow, I would believe that we should get a confirmation of a potential break of this trend line resistance. If we get it, it's a indication that the tables have started to turn. The tables have started to reverse. Okay. Yeah. So, okay, lovely, cool. This is the second part of the Bank Nifty chart analysis. I was mentioning this in the, I think 2 days back also YouTube live, that this is a triple bottom support. You can see this once, twice, thrice. 3 बार हमने उस लेवल को होल्ड किया, ओके, और तीनों बार 47,600 या 800 लेवल है. Almost 3 times we tested this low and we protected this support for Bank Nifty, which means that now the Bank Nifty should be good for a retest of this level upside, the next resistance. Why is 49,780 is the bigger resistance rather than 5,500? Because 49,780, as you can see this once, twice, 3 times, 4, 5, sorry. And if you come over here also, 6 times. You can see this 6 times the Bank Nifty took a resistance or a support at this 49,800 mark, which means that if the Bank Nifty breaks past about this level of 48,600, what is the next target which we are eyeing? The next target is 49,800. A 1,000 pointer breakout on the Bank Nifty is what we can expect. I hope this is absolutely clear for all of you, right? And that's why there is a strong case that private banks as well as few PSU banks, they could combine and come together and probably help us support the move on the market going forward. If you want to know which sectors within the banking arena, whether it's PSUs or whether it's private specifically, which are leading the charge, just ensure that you connect with us tomorrow, because tomorrow we'll be doing the the relative strength study across various sectors. And like what we do every time, like we give you an edge on metal index, we give you an edge on energy sector, we will also give you an edge on another sector within the banking index, which can help you, give you good trading styles or strategies, that which part of the Bank Nifty or which part of the market sectors you should tilt towards, whether it's private banking names or whether it's PSU banking names. But so far, as per the chart readings, what I showed in the last two slides, this is the intraday charts for Bank Nifty and a potential breakout over here, 48,800 mark. And once that happens, the next set of targets, which is almost at 49,780, which means mota moti 49,800 is what we can expect as the next targets. So, which means potentially in the next few days, in the next few weeks, we should be looking at 49,800 as a prospective rally for the banking index. But hey, this is not the major part of the discussion. This is just the starting point of what we are discussing today. The second observation, what we have, okay, or the first indicator which we are using today, the the market breadth indicator, I call it the CMB indicator, and that is going to give you a mind blowing perspective, right? What's been happening in the last 2 3 days? Everyone has been tired. आप अगर मार्केट की बात आज करोगे ना किसी को भी, तो लोग बोलेंगे अरे यार मतलब मार्केट की बात ही मत कर, इतना लॉस हो रहा है, पोर्टफोलियो इतना डाउन है, markets are looking weak, this and that, everything is happening, right? Everyone is of the view, correct, कि markets में यही टाइप का एंगल चल रहा है, यही टाइप का व्यू चल रहा है. But interestingly, the markets are indicative, or the market breadth indicator is indicative or reminiscent of a day or a data which goes back to the two favorite time zones, which are the two major corrective zones we've seen in the last 15 years, 15 to 20 years. The two major corrective zones which we've seen in the last 15 to 20 years in the history of Indian markets, and of course coinciding with the global markets also. Which were of, which were those zones? They were the 2008 and 2020, right? Perfect. So the special 3 points on the indicator is quite brilliant. I want all of you to now stay with me on this slide. Let me just explain this slide and then you will get a brilliant perspective altogether. Okay. This was the zone. So this blue bar graphs, what you can see, these bar charts, this is the market breadth indicator. When the market breadth indicator falls below -10, you can see I'm moving the mouse over here. आपको यहाँ पे दिख रहा होगा. When the market breadth indicator falls below -10, we say that the market is into a short-term correction. Short-term correction ends, and the markets will start to recover. The zones, now hear me out, guys. The zone below -15 are the deadly zones. Repeat with me, everyone. What is the zone? The deadly zones where the market breadth is at an extreme pessimistic zones. Okay. You can see the charts over here. This was the point where the market breadth indicator fell below -15. In just, I think, 3 days or 4 days, we went to almost -18 on the indicator. This was again over here where the market breadth indicator fell to sub 15 mark, -15 mark. That told us that we were at a point that the markets were likely to turn around. Can you tell me that point number 1 and point number 2, what are these two zones? What are these two zones? What have been the time frames? What could be zone number 1 and what could be the point number 2? Data 1, data number 2. This is where we are right now on the indicator. The point number 3, -15, as you can see, this is where we are. The point number 1 and the point number 2. Okay, if you see the chart, this is the last 15 to 20 years of history of the market breadth indicator. Yes, Rushabh Modi. Yes, Nitin Patil. Absolutely right. Yes, Satya Prakash. So 2008, this was the point when the market breadth indicator fell below 15. You can see the zone over here. 2020, again, फैंटास्टिक टाइम, राइट? हम हमेशा वेट करते हैं ना कि ऐसा अपॉर्चुनिटी कब मिलेगा जब इंडेक्स करेक्शन पे है, हमको 2020 जैसा अपॉर्चुनिटी मिल जाए या 2008 जैसा अपॉर्चुनिटी मिल जाए, टुडे व्हेन देयर इज अ सेल इन द मार्केट, एवरीवन इज रनिंग आउट. Correct? Everyone is going out. Whereas actually the data is telling you something completely different. Completely different. This is just one part of the entire discussion, right? First part of today's discussion, that the market breadth indicator has come back to major lows, 2008, 2020 kind of lows. Okay, there could be a scope that we may fall. So right now the indicator is almost at negative 17. We may fall to negative 18 also. There could be a possibility. मतलब ऐसा ना समझना कि अगर यहाँ से 500 पॉइंट करेक्ट कर गया तो आप बोलो अरे यार कुणाल सर ने बोला था कि 500 पॉइंट भी करेक्ट नहीं करेगा. My point is not the next immediate 200, 500 points. My point is that we are at the cusp of a major sentimental and a market breadth bottom for the indices. What matters the next is how could be the next trajectory or the next set of path for the index. See, because we all understand that every market trend is completely different. Every market correction is different than the previous market correction. 2008, we all know the markets corrected because of the subprime issues. 2020, we all know COVID was one of the major reasons why the markets cracked. And 2025 so far, we all know that the markets are correcting into a different rationale or a reason altogether. The FIs have decided that they want to exit or reduce their holdings from India, book profits in India, and then move on to other geographies, which is absolutely okay. But then all three have been different in terms of the rationale. But interestingly, the market breadth indicator in all the two previous zones are coming back into a major oversold category. That's point number one. Let's discuss in detail what happens in data one and data two. So this is point number one, when the market breadth indicator falls below the negative 15. What happens post that is that for the next few weeks and months, the market becomes sideways. तो आप देखो क्या हो रहा है, जैसे वो नेगेटिव 15 से नीचे जाता है इंडिकेटर, you see the brown line, this is the Nifty chart. The Nifty goes into an immediate bounce back mode. You know how much is the bounce back? This is almost like a 10 to 15% kind of a bounce back. और ये क्लोजिंग बेसिस का चार्ट दिखा रहा हूं मैं आपको, क्लोजिंग बेसिस. सो व्हाट हैपेंस इंट्रा डे, इंट्रा वीक is different tangent altogether, but on closing basis you see this V-shaped rally recovery which happens. Okay, so this tells you that the first move of the market is to go into a V-shaped recovery or a V-shaped rally. Okay, which means the first put of call is that at least a 5%, say in this case, because we've fallen just 15-16% only from the all-time high levels, we can expect that maybe this could be a 5% uptick for the index. 5% to 10%, that's the broad expectation. Let's keep it. We will try and narrow it down through the other studies also, that what or how much we can expect the markets to move up higher. Correct? Then what follows is a time wise consolidation. तो आप देख रहे हो बार बार इंडेक्स यहाँ पे कंसोलिडेट कर रहा है. तो this is 2008, right? There was a point where the markets went to a time wise consolidation after a major price correction. What happened post that? So anyone who started to invest in this time frame saw a monster rally coming in the next subsequent 12 months to 3 years. I think 36 months or 2012 तक ये था, 9 में bottom बना था और 12 में मोटा मोटी we made a second subsequent high for the index, right? So we are in this zone of the market. In specifically, we are almost at this point of the index. That's data number one. 2020, आप देख रहे हो same chart of market breadth and almost same understanding of the Nifty move. So 2020, the market breadth indicator falls below negative 15, we see a very big rally. This is almost again like a 10% rally, what we have seen on the Nifty, then a correction, and then a subsequent steady uptrend. This process took almost 2 to 3 months. This is March 2020. This is almost May or June 2020, where the markets formed a same structure. This is where we are right now. Okay. So now I want all of you guys to just maybe give a objective way or an objective answer. How much bare minimum can we expect the Nifty to move? If the historical precedence is that we are expecting a 5 to 10% rally in the previous zones when the markets or the market breadth indicator went oversold. Okay. How much from current levels? So we were almost at 21,950, say 22,000 as a ballpark number. 22,000 से आप कितना expect कर सकते हो? Come on, quickly, comment box. Right? How much do you guys expect the markets or the index to rally forward? Perfect. So that sets in the first tone of the market. Deepak, Satish, Alice, Raju, Pritam, Nityam, Shantanu Mishra, all of you guys are almost perfectly right in the estimate, in our estimate, right? Nishi Gupta, Satish, Nishi Gupta is to going to a different tangent altogether. We are expecting a 5% to a 10% kind of a immediate swift rally on the index part, right? That's point number one. Everyone okay? So we discussed the first part, which is the market breadth indicator, and looking at the historical precedents, it turns out that this zone, we can see a monster rally by the magnitude of 5% to 10%. आज कितना मूव किया निफ्टी? 1%. तो आज का मूव अगर निकाल दो तो there should be at least another 4% to a 9% remainder of a move, looking at the first study, which is the market breadth study. Let's look at the second point. So we discussed that the mid caps and small caps are going through a sharp sell-off, right? Can someone tell me how much is the mid cap index and small cap index below their 200-day moving averages? If you have someone as a data point, the mid caps and the small caps, how far or how below they are from their 200 DMAs? They are more than 10% below their 200-day moving averages. Not just that, the market breadth indicator. So if you remember last week in our YouTube live on Friday, I mentioned that when 90 to 94% of the stocks fall in the mid caps and small caps, fall below their 20, 50 and 100-day moving averages, a sentimental or a market sentiment types bottom is somewhere likely to be in place. So 2 days back when we hit below the 22,000 mark, 92% से लेकर 94% के बीच में the readings of mid cap 50, small cap 50 stocks were below their 20, 50 and 100-day moving averages, right? So even on the number of stocks, the intensity of the market breadth indicates that we are almost in that zone. We almost hit that major zones of oversold indicators. That same percentage of market breadth is generally seen in panic times. In 2020 March, there were like 4 or 5 days when the market breadth or when this indicator was almost at 93 to 94% consecutively for 3-4 days on the index. And what followed was a V-shaped recovery as well as a rally for the Nifty. Point number 2, right? The third indicator, which is the dollar index, right? So if you remember, I always maintain this, correlation of Nifty trends with respect to dollar index. Look at how beautifully the charts are. The red line, red I call it because of the danger signal. The red I call it because of this is the charts for dollar index, and the blue is the Nifty chart. As you can see that when the dollar index falls, you can see I'm moving the mouse, just follow the mouse over here, the cursor. When the dollar index falls, the Nifty starts to rally. Look at the point over here. The dollar index forms a major bottom. The Nifty forms almost exactly over here a major top for itself. Correct? Then comes this point. This is a point when the dollar index made a top of 110. ये था last month जनवरी में. In fact, जनवरी में we started discussing the dollar index is likely to top out at 110. We saw a top of 110, and from there the dollar index had fallen down. Again, if you remember, I had mentioned that जैसे ही dollar index 105 के आसपास आता है, वहां से Indian markets will start to see a leg up. Right? We will start to see a turnaround on Indian markets. What is the dollar index right now? 105.15. The last I had seen, I don't know right now exactly क्या होगा, but by the time in the early mornings or in the late afternoons, I'd actually seen that the dollar index was almost at 105.15 or 105.2 on the dollar index, which means we are on the verge of a breakdown of that 105 mark for the dollar index. A second indicator which tells us that the index will start to see a leg up. Now, what we ideally should be doing is, in all the previous attempts when the dollar index was at 105 mark, what was the Nifty at that 105 zone? You can see this. मैंने first blue line draw किया यहाँ पर. This was the first time the dollar index was at 105 mark. Correct? What was the Nifty over here? Can someone tell me what is the Nifty level over here? Just connect this dotted line. 24,500. The Nifty chart over here. The second line, maybe this line is better, where the dollar index was at 105. What was the Nifty price chart over here? Nifty price again 24,500. So in the previous two legs, when the dollar index first took resistance, then took support, the Nifty retested 24,500 mark. Clear? The top of the Nifty, जहां से हमें टर्न अराउंड कर देना चाहिए था, है ना, ये था 110 mark dollar index का. Just extrapolate this point and go back over here. What is this zone? Which level is this? 23,000, which means from a base of 22,000, what are we expecting? Either a 5% rally or a 10% rally. है ना? Bare minimum 5%. Bare minimum 5% क्यों होता है? बहुत बार क्या होता है? So when dollar index topped out at 110, the Nifty was at 23,000. Now dollar index started to fall, the Nifty starts to fall. But क्या होता है? At one point of time, when dollar index falls more, the Nifty, which was in a converging trend, starts to reverse itself. So it's like a rubber band, you know. जनरली जब रबर बैंड को आप एक्सपांड करते हो, एक पॉइंट आता है जहां पे आप स्ट्रेच कर सकते हो टुवर्ड्स द मैक्सिमम. द मोमेंट यू लीव वन एंड ऑफ द रबर बैंड, इट ट्राइज टू कम बैक टू द inertia mode. I'm not a physics teacher, okay, but just trying to tell you that how divergences work. Divergences work करते हैं when you expand beyond a certain point, and then when you release it, or when the divergence corrects itself, the rubber band tries to come back to the initial mode first. So which means the first initial mode was at this point, which is 23,000 to 23,100 for the Nifty over here. So even over here, we can expect that the index should come back to the 23,000 mark at least as a bare minimum. And the more the dollar index can keep falling from here, the higher the probability that we may hit even this part. 24,000 to 24,500. Everyone with me, right? So far clear? Two different styles of study which we did: the market breadth and the dollar index convergence, which we are reversing, right? So, dollar index, whether it's on top or whether it's on the 105 level, either of these two data points indicates 23,000 as the bare minimum floor support or 24,500 as a bare resistance on the upside. The third part, this is the most interesting part of today's discussion, the Dawn ratio. You know what is the Dawn ratio? Dawn ratio, I call it, why? Because Dawn generally बोलते हैं ना कि the one who has the highest power or highest effect on the markets as such. In this case, Dawn ratio is the Dow Nifty ratio, because we believe that Dow and the movements of Dow Jones has a very strong impact on the Nifty trends. Correct? So the Dawn ratio is a very simple ratio of Dow with respect to the Nifty price analysis. This is the last 15 years of chart, 15, 16 years of charts for the Dawn ratio. Again, just stay with me, guys, over here. Just stay with me. The Dawn ratio says that when the Dawn ratio hits the zone of 1.7 or 1.5, this band of 1.5, 1.7. Okay. Sabyasachi saying, superb Guruji for instilling confidence. Thank you. Bhavini Vora saying, excellent data shared, sir. No one imparts these data. That's the idea with YouTube Live with me, right? Because these are exceptional data points. And we bring one such data point almost every single day on our YouTube Live, whenever we do a YouTube Live, correct? So what happens over here? This is the point where the markets first signal a major topping out. Okay, guys, everyone, please pay attention. Please pay attention. This is the point where the markets make a top. This is a point when the markets make a extreme bottom. Okay, why we are discussing on this data point? What you see is on 4th October 2010. 4th October 2010, when the Dawn ratio was at a major low, and when the Dawn ratio starts to reverse, you see that there is a stronger degree of outperformance which happens. So there is a particular path which the Nifty mirrors. So we'll discuss this portion and we'll see that how this portion is very similar to the current trend where we are. So dollar index यहाँ पे, the Dawn ratio यहाँ पर September 2024 the Dawn ratio topped out. September end, October start, the Dawn ratio topped out. Again, over here, if you remember, 2022, this was around August, September, where the Dawn ratio topped out. And then we saw the markets falling. October, tak, I think we made a bottom somewhere, 2022. And this is the current chart. Now, interestingly, we go to this point. Now, this is interesting, guys. 2010 ka chart hai. 4th October 2010. The markets or the Dawn ratio hits a major bottom. This indicates that we are likely to go into a corrective phase. The first leg of correction takes the market below this blue line. Can you see this blue line? What is this blue line? This is the 200-day moving average. Okay. And there is a point over here where the Nifty is down almost 7 to 9% below their 200-day moving averages. ओके, यहां पे आके आपका मार्केट ब्रेथ इंडिकेटर, आपका डॉलर इंडेक्स के साथ पे कोरिलेशन, डॉन रेशियो, the divergence from 200-day moving averages, all of them they come together. We hit the yellow point. Subsequently, in the next 1 month, 1 to 2 months, you can see this process. One, two, we try to protect the low and we try into a staggered uptrend. Then comes a point when the market rises sharply and we hit the red zone. Okay. Why is this important? Because from here till the next 2 months, which means February से लेकर March end April तक मोटा मोटी there is a 10% jump in the index over here from 5,200 to almost 5,900. तो करीबन 700 600 700 पॉइंट का निफ्टी में रैली आया था इन 2 months. Again, for 2-3 days, it moved up higher. It corrected sharply. It went up again, corrected. And then there comes a point where in 8 to 10 days, there is a very swift and a fast jump in the markets. So which means that even the dawn ratio right now, so this is where we are on the Nifty 50, right? September 2024, the dawn ratio tops out, or rather bottoms out, the Nifty tops out. We see a leg of price correction. At current levels, 24,000 का 200 day moving average है, 22,000 मोटा मोटी हमने low बनाया. Almost 8% to 9% divergence from the 200 DMA. See this? 8 to 9% divergence from 200 DMA, which means that in this leg of the market recovery, we rise once above the 200 day moving average, right? Dawn ratio, Dow-Nifty chart, price comparison, similar price movements on the Nifty, most probably similar price movements even this time around, which means that even if we rally from 22,000 to 24,000 mark over here, we will complete the first leg of retracement. So we discussed market breadth indicator, we discussed the dollar index chart, and we discussed the dawn ratio. All three of them are showing us that a bare minimum of 5% towards a very strong possibility that 24,000 or 24,500. मैंने उसके लिए red circle यहाँ पे draw किया है. You guys can see this red circle, right? Right, this red circle. This is exactly the point where I would expect that the markets should give a sudden rally. But you know what follows post that? Remember, तो ये एक rally है. That's why I said it's a rally. The major trend could still be negative for the index. So the point is that if you miss out on the initial part of the market trend, and if you buy over here when everyone else will be buying on the street, है ना? अब क्या हुआ है लास्ट 3 से 4 दिन में? Everyone has panicked, right? Everyone has panicked. All of them are saying कि अरे either their portfolios are out, they've raised cash, they're not deploying capital, they don't know which stocks to buy, which stocks to sell. They will buy when there is a confidence. For the markets to move lower negative, see, even in this case, आप November December का example ले लो. November तक markets brutal selling था. This was a brutal selling where constantly we saw the markets falling lower. Then came a relief rally. Everyone thought that hey, FI का selling खत्म हो गया, अब यहाँ से markets एकदम stable हो जाएंगे. There is always a tendency for traders to believe that once you see a rally and the rally takes you above the certain key moving averages, you will believe that hey, things have improved and you could be at a point where यहाँ से long build up करना is beneficial. But you have to be a bit contra and a bit early in your anticipation for the market's rally, because if you are proven right, then you don't have to buy at 24,000 or 24,500. You will probably maybe getting a chance to book profits at 24,000 to 24,500 mark. So 3 different indicators, 3 different studies, all 3 of them indicative that we are at least a 5% towards a 10% swing on the market mood on the upside. So I hope, and isn't that a good monster rally, right? अब तो ऐसा हो रहा है कि अगर 100 पॉइंट भी निफ्टी चल जाता है ना तो हम एकदम हैप्पी हो जाते हैं. तो इमेजिन करो कि यहाँ से इन द नेक्स्ट 1 month 2 month what kind of a market mood we could be in. So I'm just trying to give you a feeler. The idea is that just to give you a feeler that don't be too late in buying, because if you are too late in buying in the next cycle you would be caught like everyone else on the street. You would be caught like everyone else on the street और आप wrong end पे buying करना चालू कर लोगे, है ना, जहां पे you ideally should be lightening your portfolio. I don't want that you guys may be top heavy or be heavy in your portfolios. That's the overall idea with today's YouTube live and a possible 3-4 dimensional analysis where all of them are coming together and telling you that this may not just be a flashy rally like a 100 200 pointer rally, but why we believe that should be a substantial point that the markets may start to look into a trending mode. आपको एक और बात बताऊं, अगर आप क्लोजली देख पा रहे हो, है ना, that if you join these trend line, maybe if I can do that, uh, see this. You remember our discussion on Tata Steel? And I just showed how this is the simplest version of price telling you everything. 3 times, what is index? Index is just a mirror image of what happens to the stocks. Nifty by itself may not have a pattern, right? But Nifty will try to mimic what happens to the individual components or the major components. तो दैट्स वाई कभी कभी आप देखते हो ना कि बॉटम में या एक टॉप में सारे चार्ट्स सेम पैटर्न बनाते हैं. सब में ट्रिपल डाइवर्जेंस होता है, सब में हैमर फॉर्मेशन होता है, सब में ओवरसोल्ड इंडिकेटर्स हो जाते हैं, सब में मूविंग एवरेजेस का डाइवर्जेंस हो जाता है, एटसेट्रा एटसेट्रा एटसेट्रा, है ना. व्हाई डज दैट हैपन? It's not because Nifty is forming those patterns. Nifty is just a sum total, a calculative part of how the stocks behave. So if you start seeing the nature of trends in stocks, you will start to see the overall pattern evolving in the indices. So what I show in my YouTube lives, like what we did on the metal sector, is just one part of the analysis. If you start anticipating that in stocks and sectors, you will start to see the larger picture emerging in indices also. So which means, what is the first level of index trend? यहां पे भी हम बता रहे हैं, है ना, टाटा स्टील में भी हमने बताया कि हमने यहां पे बता रहे कि फर्स्ट लेवल ऑफ मार्केट ट्रेंड व्हाट वी कैन एक्सपेक्ट. अगेन यहां पे भी इंडिकेट हो रहा है 50 DMA और द ट्रेंड लाइन विच इज क्लोजर टू 23,000 23,500 मार्क. तो बाय ऑल मीन्स, है ना, अगर अभी इसमें एक ही कैच हो सकता है कि टुमारो इफ एफआई इज आल्सो लिसनिंग टू दिस वीडियो एंड ही सेज कि नहीं, लेट मी गो अगेंस्ट कुणाल एंड लेट मी गो अगेंस्ट द व्यू, लेट मी स्टार्ट सेलिंग. आई ट्राई टू बी ऑब्जेक्टिव and it's best because in times of panics and times of euphoria it's best to be objective. If FI starts to sell, it's a different ball game altogether, but the charts, the indicators, all of them are shouting and telling us that we are in for at least 1,000 pointer rally on the Nifty. The best case scenario could be a 2,000 pointer plus rally on the index. So a bare minimum expectation is 23,000 on the upside and 24,000 as the max up, 24,500 as the max upside, hopefully in the next 2 months. And that could be a much better point for all of you guys if you want to lighten up your portfolios or maybe try and juggle your portfolios in a better manner. Because क्या होता है बार बार के पैनिक के टाइम में आपको बार्गेन्स ने, you don't get a better shifting bargain. So you'll have to exit the stocks at multi-year lows and multi-month lows, and then you have to invariably book major losses, and then the capacity to buy at the highs is not there, right? But if you just be a bit objective, you look at this part, I am hopeful that if it plays out the way in which we are anticipating, you will get a much better zone and a comfortable point for you to try and change and tweak your entire portfolio as well as picking up the right set of stocks. Lovely. Guys, everything picture clear? So I'll just read the recent comments. Deepak Chabria sir, we are with you. And I'm sure you will guide us along. And this is exactly what we do in our advisory and in our training programs also, right? We try and give you the very crucial part. So, the cumulative market breadth indicator, the modified, RSI, the Nifty indicator. We discuss all of those indicators in our mentorship sessions. And we have a recent mentorship session which is likely to come out in the month of April, mid or April end somewhere. So once we start off that, we will be discussing. I'll be giving you the entire strategies of how we try and compile these indicators also, and of course we give the output of that to our advisory clients. Indumati says you have beautifully addressed the classic rookie mistake that retail investors like us do. Yes, and that's the idea, to be one step ahead, then rest of the markets, rather than just follow what everyone else is doing. Uh, so Kirtan is asking a very interesting question. What about Japanese yen? If it becomes strong with US dollar index falling, then yen carry trade can do anything. So, so that I think, if you would have probably dwelled, Kirtan, you would have got the puzzle right, because if dollar index is falling because yen is appreciating more, that will lead to a swift move in the डॉन रेशियो, है ना? तो जितना जल्दी होगा उतना एक्चुअली बेटर होगा, बिकॉज डॉन रेशियो आपका बहुत जल्दी आपके टॉप जोन्स पे वापस आ जाएगा. तो जितना जल्दी डॉन रेशियो हायर जोन्स पे वापस आ जाए, उतना जल्दी मार्केट का ये जो फाइनल लेग ऑफ करेक्शन है ना, मेजर करेक्शन, वो उतना जल्दी खत्म हो जाएगा. So everything just fits into the pieces one by one. All you have to do is just try and mix up all three of these angles and then try and have a combined or a coherent view. Satya Prakash is saying picture clear. Thank you, Satya Prakash. Ramakrishnan says, will the IT index perform? I will actually answer your question by the sentence you've mentioned. I think the IT index should underperform. IT index should underperform. Alice Maridas is saying, great analysis, big fan of your teachings. Thank you so much, Alice. Yeah, so Sabyasachi is asking, why am I advising to rally, be light after the market rally? Because my expectation is that corrections generally play out in 2 to 3 parts, and जो ऐसे corrections होते हैं ना, so unless there is a major reasons which come out, then it's a different ball game altogether. But जब तक reasons नहीं आते हैं ना, तो पहले क्या हो रहा है कि first leg of the market correction, it took us by surprise. Then there is some news flow which everyone is starting to link up, like the China story, the US tariff, tantrums, etc. The third leg is where all hell generally breaks loose. So it's always better that you be on cash, or at least a substantial portion on cash. You keep cash ready for the second leg of the market correction or the final leg of the market correction. Yeah. So that's why I sense that you should try and take advantage of this market rally. Try and make as much as trading profits as possible. Okay. And then closer to that, say 24,000 mark or 23,500 mark, whatever the number index reaches, at those zones, try and lighten up your trading portfolios. Okay. And start to be a lot more, I would say, strategic with your portfolio structuring, because you don't want too many small caps and mid caps at the end of the market rally, है ना? You want to be as light on them as possible. So trade करो, profit आएगा, वो profit से आप वो जो आपके loss वाले जो trades हैं उनको आप offset कर सकते हो, and then automatically you will start to be more on cash. That's the idea. Okay, and of course, if dollar index starts to fall below 105, Rishabh Modi, dollar index starts to fall below 105, it's going to be advantage metal index more. Exactly. Okay. Hope you guys love today's analysis. Manoharan Deen Dayalu, I will ensure that your query is addressed. So don't worry. Okay, Manohar, I will ensure that by tomorrow you will get the resolution for your query, and I'll ask my team to get back to you. Okay. Manoj Kumar is saying perfectly analyzed, sir. Was eagerly waiting for your live video analysis. Thank you so much, Manoj Kumar. Believe in pure soul. Are you prediction saying from 24 we will send bigger fall? I believe so, and I don't see any harm in expecting that after this 10, because एक classic sentiment होता है, you know right now sentiment is extremely negative, pessimistic. For the That's why when sentiment is extremely negative, क्या होता है, there is not room for traders to start selling more, yeah, buying more. And if FIs have to start selling more, there has to be some other counterparty which has to start buying in confidence. वो कॉन्फिडेंस कब आता है? When you see a sudden jump, when you see a sudden rally, right? When you see a sudden rally, जैसे sudden rally आएगी ना, 24,000 आएगा, then all of the WhatsApp research analysts, they will start to say, अरे 26,000, 27,000, 30,000, 31,000, सब कुछ आएगा, right? That's the time when the market starts to become. So I have this beautiful line that if fiction is sold to you, very good time to exit, and if fact is sold to you, best time for you to buy. है ना? Lovely. If fiction is sold to you, best time for you to exit. If fact is sold to you, fantastic time for you to buy. Jhakas Sarji, entirely different perspective, says Bhavini. Rushabh is saying that I eat data in lunch and dinner. तो मैं बोलता हूँ data is my beta. Jabardast, one word. Thank you so much, Harish. Shalendra is saying love it. Jay Sudharsan TRS, request to continue your great work for the investors. Thank you so much. Jay Sudarshan, I will try and do as much as possible. Rahul Sharma says Aftab. Satish, F2. What is F2? Sorry. Okay, there is. Oh, Rajan Parashar is saying dollar index has finally fallen below 105. Can you guys see? Has dollar index fallen below 105? I guess so. Maybe I am not sure. Maybe you guys can check it. Jikesh Vakaria is saying if someone joined late, then Jikesh, don't worry. If you guys have joined late, just go back to the video. It will be uploaded on my YouTube channel. But hey guys, don't be like a Marwadi like me. In fact, be a Marwadi like me. Don't be confused and start ensuring that you like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and ensure that you share this video to all your friends and colleagues, and especially those guys who are afraid that market में enter करना है या exit करना है, आना है या जाना है, enter करना है या बाहर आना है, right? Fantastic. Lovely. So I hope I have addressed all the queries. I am not taking stock specific queries today. Bhavini Vora, and I think there are a few more other guys who are asking about stock specific. Today's topic, let's not do stock specific because I wanted to keep it more generic. Wanted to keep it more towards the overall market mood, because हमारा mood better हो जाएगा अगर market better हो जाता है ना? तो stocks में भी automatically you will start to see some good resemblance and stability. Okay. Lovely. Fact fiction F2. Yes. Lovely. So yeah, I think all of you guys are writing on the comment box. Dollar index is below 105 mark. There you are. Okay. There you are. As we were speaking, the dollar index has started to fall. Cool, guys. Are you profitable in trading in all of these years? Vinay Nagpal, I have been tremendously profitable. Touch wood, touch wood, touch wood, touch wood, touch wood in trading. The idea is not to trade every day. Trading जो जो आप लोग को समझ में आता है ना, वो इंट्राडे ट्रेड्स वो सब नहीं होता है ट्रेडिंग. Trading is objective. Trading is to be strategic. Trading is to start looking at leader stocks, relatively strong stocks, exiting or maybe going short on the relatively weaker sectors, weaker stocks. Like if you remember, we did an analysis on the sector trends. Like there is one sector vis-a-vis the other sector which is looking attractive. We did a ratio analysis chart in our previous month analysis on trends. So technical analysis is all about that. Or you don't have to trade 12 months with the same gusto every time. You have to keep moving a position size to light and dark. There are points where I recommend to trade extreme heavy, and then there are points where we trade 1/10 of our size, right? 1/10 becomes the actual quantity where I recommend to trade, because that's what it is. You can't make money all the time. You win the bigger battles, and you win the bigger wars, and you lose the smaller battles, which is absolutely okay. That's how you should trade. And Vinay Nagpal, now I understand that you will be logging into the YouTube live every day, right? Okay. Atanu Barik is saying, as you are helping all the common man, God will bless you like this. Thank you so much, Atanu Barik. So wonderful. Such pleasant words. Fantastic. I am absolutely touched by it. Thank you so much. Okay. Sir, you have microscope in your eyes. Can find any microscopic data helpful for us. Thank you so much. है ना. तो इफ रिमेंबर अंकल पॉइंट मैंने बोला था 23,000 पे, सब लोग का अंकल पॉइंट हिट होने दो, उसके बाद में आपको मजा आएगा. सो यू ऑल्सो हिट द अंकल पॉइंट व्हेन वी हिट 22,000 एंड बिलो, है ना. 22,000 के नीचे है ना, राइट. 22,000 के नीचे आया था ना, सबका अंकल पॉइंट ट्रिगर हुआ था ना. अमित सिंह बिश्ती सिंह, सर आप भी डॉन ही हो. Rushabh Modi saying, request do it regularly and fixed time. Sorry, Rushabh. I will try my best, but there's a ton of things which I do after 3:30. Trust me, it's very crunch as compared to the time, but I'll try and maybe fix it to maybe one slot. But just maybe adhere, or I'll request that just stay with me for some time, because I will need to find that exact time, because I don't want to keep it too late. I don't want to keep it too early, but I think 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock should be an ideal time. Let me see if I can get it fixed. Okay. I'll give me some time, but for it, Rishabh. Okay. Chalo. I hope I have addressed all your queries. Thank you so much, guys, for connecting. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and to grow this community to massive thousands and lakhs of people in the markets and crores of people in the market. Why think small? Think big. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. I hope you loved today's analysis. Don't forget to leave your comments on the video when you see it on our YouTube channel. Okay. Thank you so much. Goodbye. Let's hope we get a good, decent market rally, not just tomorrow, but subsequently in the next 1 to 3 months. And I would request and urge everyone to try and take as much advantage as possible. You can keep connecting with us on the YouTube live regularly, because we also bring out sector trends and we give you a glimpse of what kind of stocks can stand to outperform. If you remember 2 days back, मैंने आपको बताया था ONGC और NTPC. Like that, you would keep getting those surprises in between. Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye. Take care. Have a fantastic evening, or whatever is remaining. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.